In the ancient city of Athens, long before the rise of empires and skyscrapers, there lived a merchant named Cleon. He wasn't a warrior or a politician or even a scholar, just a man with a cart, a dream, and a warehouse full of olive oil. But one night, a fire swept through his storehouse. Everything he owned, gone. No war, no theft, just fate. Now ask yourself, if that happened to you, would you crumble? Most people would, but Cleon didn't. He sat on the stone steps outside the smoldering ruins, stared at the sky and whispered, "Maybe this was meant to teach me something." And just like that, he began a journey, not to rebuild his wealth, but to rebuild himself. This is not a story about fire, it's a story about fire within. Because the real test of philosophy isn't in books or temples, it's in how we respond when life throws us the unexpected. That's what Cleon learned. That's what every ancient thinker tried to teach. And that's what still matters today. The philosophy Cleon would go on to live by wasn't about suppressing feelings or pretending not to care. It was about knowing which feelings to hold on to and which to let pass like wind through a trees. The ancient Stoics didn't ask people to stop feeling. They asked us to stop being ruled by what we can't control. They said, "The storm will come. You just don't have to become the storm." Think about this. You don't get angry when it's cold outside. You put on a jacket. You don't curse the sun for rising too early. You get up. Why? Because you expect it. Stoicism is the practice of expecting the emotional winters before they arrive. It's about shifting our mindset, not to be numb, but to be ready. When we brace for discomfort, we stop being surprised by it. In ancient times, philosophers like Epictetus, who was born a slave, and Marcus Aurelius, who ruled as emperor, both lived by the same principles. One had nothing, the other had everything. But both understood that status doesn't matter, response does. They practiced voluntary discomfort. They fasted, they walked barefoot, not for fun, but to train their minds. It's like lifting weights for the soul. And today, the distractions may look different, but the principle still holds. Take cold showers. Put down your phone for a day. Walk instead of drive. Not because life is bad, but because you're preparing for the days that might be. We live in a world that constantly tells us, you need more to be more. More success, more validation, more followers. But that's just noise. Stoicism strips away the noise and asks, if all that was gone, who would you be? Not your job, not your reputation, just you. Are you at peace with that? Most of our pain doesn't come from what happens. It comes from how tightly we cling to how we wanted things to happen. But here's the Stoic truth. We don't control the wind. We only control the sail. We don't choose the waves. We choose whether to sink or steer. The greatest power we have is our response. There's a phrase the Stoics held above all else: control what you can, accept what you can't. That's the dichotomy of control. It's simple, but it changes everything. Once you separate what's yours from what isn't, your peace stops depending on the world and starts depending on you. You don't need to live in a cave or give up everything. But what if you just learned to let go of what you never had control over? What if you trained your mind the way athletes train their bodies? What if you focused not on avoiding pain, but on becoming the kind of person who can stand in the storm and still choose peace? That's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's Stoicism.